let's dive straight into it. The first big story, and man, it's one that really split the fans. In what can only be described as a hard, gritty war between two warriors, the fight between Robert Whittaker and Derritt had everyone talking. It was tense, back and forth, technical, one of those fights where every second counts. Whittaker came out looking crisp. He used his striking beautifully, keeping Derritt at a distance, picking his shots, staying patient. But as the rounds went on, Derritt started to change the pace. He leaned into his grappling, slowed the whole fight down, and little by little, he started taking control. By the time the final bell rang, no one was sure who had it, and when the judges gave it to Derritt, chaos. Instantly, the MMA world exploded with opinions. Bo Nickel, who had lost to Derritt earlier this year, gave respect. "Congrats to Derritt," he said. "Great fight. Title shot next. I've got a long way to go, but I'm coming back. Maybe we rematch someday." Some were supportive, others not so much. Kiao didn't hold back. "Good win," he said, "but asking for a title shot? That's just delusional." Henry Cejudo added, "Great performance by Derritt. Add Isa next." Bilal Muhammad agreed with the decision. "I gave it to Derritt," he simply stated. Even Islam Makhachev chimed in. He thought it was tied going into round 5. "Long night for both," he said. Then came Paulo Costa, always colorful. He said, "I thought Dreas had the weirdest fight style in the UFC, but Derritt is right there with him." But here's where it got intense. A large part of the fan base was furious. They felt Rob had won. Social media blew up. "Rewarding hugging now," one post said. Another called it a flat-out robbery. "Absolutely rigged. Had it for Bobby." Others claimed Whittaker won 3 rounds. Robbed. Didn't deserve that loss. They slammed Derritt for clinching endlessly, doing nothing with it. People were divided, big time, and the debate raged. Should control time beat damage and aggression? Even Derritt himself admitted he wasn't thrilled. "I don't want to fight like this, man," he said. "The guy was too tough. I want to finish a guy in the first round. That would be much better." He even called out Armstrong next and asked for a title shot. His honesty hit hard. Even in victory, he knew this wasn't the kind of fight people love. Whittaker, ever the pro, handled it with class. "It was a lot of pressure," he said. "He's got a particular way of fighting. I couldn't really get my game going. He did better more often. He won. Good on him." You could hear the frustration in his voice, though. Respectful, but disappointed. So, did the judges get it right? Or was Rob robbed? That debate isn't ending anytime soon. Let's move on. Next, Shara Bullet versus Marc-Andre Barriault. What a battle that was. From the start, Barriault came charging forward. Volume, pressure, trying to overwhelm. But Shara, cool as ice, stayed composed. He picked his shots, defended smartly, and looked sharp. Then came the turning point. In round 2, Shara took a hard shot, broke his nose, blood, pain, and for a second it looked like Barriault might steal the whole fight. But no, Shara showed heart. He changed up the game plan, used better movement, started countering clean, and round by round, he clawed back control. By the end, he was the one in charge. Judges gave him the unanimous decision. The MMA world reacted fast. Dricus du Plessis joked, "Well done, Cyclops Leprechaun," poking fun at the swollen nose. Henry Cejudo, though, gave real props. Shara Bullet's best performance. He weathered the storm and came back with smart defense. Bilal Muhammad called it a test of toughness. Terence McKinney summed it up. What a scrap. Shara earned respect that night, not just as a flashy striker, but as a true fighter. He got hurt, he dug deep, and he won. Next up, drama. Daniel Cormier versus John Jones again. So, during the UFC 318 weigh-in show, DC was asked a light-hearted question. If you could fight anyone anywhere, who would it be? DC laughed, joked about fighting at his house, that's it. Didn't even name names. But Dan Hellie, classic, threw a jab. Does the name rhyme with man? Obviously talking about John Jones. DC just laughed it off. But John? Oh, John didn't take it well. He jumped online, called himself the most painful thing to ever happen to DC, said he buried him twice and would do it a third time with a smile. He was angry, cocky, classic John Jones. Then came DC's reply on YouTube, and man, it was powerful. "Yeah, it sucked to lose," DC said. "I can admit that. I'm a man. It hurt, especially in 2017, but it doesn't hurt now. That was 8 years ago. I'm not stuck on that." Then DC got serious. "You can't say you're the most painful thing in a person's life when they've lost a child or when their father was murdered. That's the craziest thing in the world." And with that, DC reminded everyone, life is bigger than fights. He's moved on. He's grown. And John's words, they crossed a line. His final line was pure gold. "Somebody tell John Jones, get off my page, man. What's he doing watching me?" frustration, humor, dignity. It was classic Cormier, done with the drama, but still standing tall. Moving on, Arman Tsarukyan versus Paddy Pimblett, or rather Arman tearing into Paddy. Arman was on the Overdogs podcast with Mike Perry and didn't hold back. He said Paddy doesn't even deserve to be ranked. Delete him from the top 10, Arman said. Look at the guys he beat. Chandler, who had 3 losses. Bobby Green with 3 or 4. Tony Ferguson, 8 losses. Then he said something a little more brutal. And now you want that guy to fight for a title? Come on. He broke it down with brutal honesty. Numbers, facts, nothing fancy, just raw truth. But then he took it to the next level. He called out Ilia Topuria, the featherweight champ, and laid down a bold bet. No trash talk, just straight stakes. I'll put $500,000 on the line, Arman said. If he beats me, he gets it. If I beat him, I get it. No hesitation, just pure confidence. That's not just talk. That's putting your money where your mouth is. That's how much Arman believes in himself. Now, everyone's watching. Will Paddy respond? Will Ilia step up? No one knows yet, but Arman made it clear he's coming for the top. And now, something shocking. Conor McGregor's pub, the Black Forge Inn, was set on fire again. Yes, again. The fire started early Friday morning. Locals saw smoke, called it in. Fire crews rushed in and stopped it before major damage happened. Thankfully, no one was hurt. But this didn't look like an accident. Authorities believe it was deliberate. Someone meant to burn the place down. It's scary, because this isn't the first time. Back in 2022, someone threw a petrol bomb at the same pub. That time it didn't fully ignite, but this time it was closer, more serious. Social media blew up. Videos of smoke, fire trucks. It all spread fast. People were shocked, angry, and Conor, he stayed true to form. You wouldn't get through with a rocket launcher, he said. Not a bother on her. Spotless. This is the breakfast of champions, baby. That's Conor. Bold, defiant, untouchable. But even he has to wonder, who keeps coming after his pub? Is it a vendetta? Random crime? Nobody knows yet. But McGregor made it clear he's not backing down. Let's keep going because things just keep heating up. Right after the whole pub incident, another huge story broke. And this time, it's Dan Hooker making serious noise. So, here's what happened. Dan the Hangman Hooker, coming off a big win against Mateusz Gamrot at UFC 305, was riding high. People were excited. He looked sharp, dangerous, and totally ready to climb the ladder again. The next fight fans were dying to see. Hooker versus Justin Gaethje. That would have been chaos. Pure violence. Just bleed. But it didn't happen. Hooker got injured. He broke his hand in training, had to get surgery. It was a rough setback for a guy who looked ready to go on a serious run. That injury kept him off UFC 313, and it stung. Not just for him, but for all of us who wanted that war with Gaethje. Fast forward a few months. Now, Hooker's healed, recovered, and he's coming back strong. This time, though, he's got a specific target in mind, a big one. Former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira, du Bronx. On Saturday, Hooker jumped on X and made things official. He posted, "Someone wake up Charlie Olives and tell him we're fighting in November." Simple, director, no confusion. And that one line? It set the MMA world on fire. People immediately started breaking down how that matchup would look. Oliveira's elite jiu-jitsu versus Hooker's clean, precise striking. Two warriors, two styles, fireworks. But Hooker wasn't finished. Oh no, he decided to stir the pot even more. He threw in a second post and took a shot at another top contender, Arman Tsarukyan. On a side note, Arman's a B, and he can get it too. Daddy's home. That was loud. Fans went nuts. 2 callouts in one go. Hooker's not just looking for a fight, he's hunting, and you could feel it. Hooker's tired of waiting. He's done with injuries. He wants back in there, against the toughest guys in the division, and he doesn't care who's in front of him. Oliveira, Arman, anyone. This is the version of Hooker we all love. The one who's fearless, outspoken, and always down to throw hands with the best of the best. But of course, Arman Tsarukyan didn't take that call out lightly. He fired back quickly. And now we've got serious tension in the lightweight division. Everyone's calling each other out. Everyone wants to climb. And with Islam holding the belt, it's getting tighter at the top. But there's more. We've got rivalries reigniting. We've got fighters making bets, calling names, putting money on the line. And we've got Conor McGregor dealing with arson attacks and still managing to crack jokes like it's nothing. This is MMA, this is chaos, and we love it. Let's zoom out for a second. Right now, the lightweight division is stacked. You've got Islam as champ. Charles Oliveira still hanging near the top. Dangerous as ever. Arman Tsarukyan making noise. Dan Hooker back with a vengeance. Paddy Pimblett trying to prove himself, but getting called out hard by guys who don't think he belongs. And then there's the wild cards. Gaethje, Poirier, Dariush, Fiziev. The whole division is a minefield of killers, and that's why every call-out matters. When Hooker says he wants Charles, he's not just picking a name, he's chasing legacy, he's chasing relevance, and he's doing it the only way he knows how: loud, confident, and unfiltered. When Arman tears into Paddy or dares Ilia Topuria to put $500,000 on the line, he's not bluffing, he's putting pressure on the division. He wants his respect. Now, and when Cormier stands up to John Jones, years after retirement, it reminds us how personal this sport gets. These guys don't forget the scars, the wins, the losses. They live with that forever. It's raw, it's emotional, it's human. And maybe that's why we care so much, because this sport isn't just about punches and takedowns, it's about pride, it's about proving something about yourself, your journey, your pain. Think about it. When Shara Bullet fought through a broken nose and still won, that wasn't just skill, that was will. When Robert Whittaker stood in the cage and calmly accepted a decision he didn't agree with, that was respect, that was heartbreak with class. When DC told John Jones, "You're not the worst thing in my life, I've lost a child," that was pain. That was a reminder of real-life struggle beyond the octagon. And when Connor's pub got burned, again, and he still stood there laughing, you couldn't get through with a rocket launcher. That was defiance. That was McGregor being McGregor. It's why we keep watching. The fights, they're amazing, but the stories, the rivalries, the real moments, that's what makes MMA unlike anything else. So what's next? Will Dan Hooker get Charles Oliveira in November? Will Arman and Ilia really put up $500K and throw down? Will Paddy respond? Will the rankings shift? And what about Connor? Will he finally return, or will his war be outside the cage? No one knows. But one thing's for sure. The chaos isn't slowing down. The rivalries are real. The emotions are high. And the fighters? They're all ready for war. So stay tuned. Because if you thought the last few months were wild, the next ones are going to be pure madness. And we'll be here for all of it. From wild brawls to broken noses, from personal tragedies to public call-outs, from flaming pubs to title dreams. This is MMA, and it never sleeps. And it never sleeps.